Hello and welcome. This is part one in the five-part series, Jumpstart Your Trading. I'm providing this to you as a free gift just for stopping by the website, and I want to say thank you. Wanted to focus on something today that a lot of people don't really give critical thought to until it's too late, until they've already lost money. We don't want to do that. What we want to do is start off on the right foot. So we're going to talk about building a good foundation. Can you see that? I wonder how this turned out. We want to talk about building a good foundation to getting started. Now, I don't care if you've been trading for 20 years or if you've been trading or just trying to learn to trade, to do this in real time, and this is your first look at it. Doesn't matter to me. You need a good foundation, and no one is exempt from building on a solid foundation. If your results haven't been what you want them to be, or you don't even know what your results could be, you need a place to start from that's going to really help you do this on the right foot from day one. And this isn't about analysis and charts and books and tapes and audio series. This is about you knowing what's important for you, about where you're starting from and what the issues are that's going to be a challenge to you. See, everybody's a little different. I learned this business the hard way from the inside out. And oh my God, the pain and suffering I went through I wouldn't wish it on anyone. But the point is that, there's other guys that didn't have these issues, they had issues of their own. That's what set them back. If they would have known that going in, they would have shortened that learning curve, which is really all we want to do. So let me get the PowerPoint up and running. We're going to talk about building a good foundation, what things you can do right now, starting today. So by the end of the day, you're ready to take the next step and get ready to trade. So what is our foundation? We want to talk about getting started. What's the best foundation to build on? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at that. Again, as always, because I never know who's listening to this, trading is a risk. You got to be willing to accept that risk. You could lose money. Don't trade with money unless you can afford to lose it. There's no guarantees. You need to be prepared for that. And again, I'm not telling you that you should or you shouldn't trade. I'm just saying that you want to be protected. So if this is not the right time in your life for emotionally and financially for you to take a risk investment on, trading isn't for you right now. So that being said, what is the foundation you want to build on? Okay, the foundation is trading is a business, so treat it like one. Okay, your best initial start as a business, developing a business, so you don't make the mistake that other people have made, is to create a business plan and follow through on it. In other words, get an idea in your mind, a foundation of how you're going to run your business, and there's two ways you can do this. Okay. And the important issue is there's no shortcut to this. Don't make the mistake of thinking there's a shortcut. You need to ask these questions, answer them honestly, and then we'll move on to what might be the best foundation for you to run your business. Number one, how much time am I willing to wait for a profit? How much for a loss? Why do we ask this question? If you're the kind of guy or gal that will want to be in the market and out by the end of the day because you don't want to hold a position overnight, you don't want to be in or out, you want to be in or out in an hour or two. That's a different business plan than a guy who says, well, I'll put something on today and I'll look at it again in a week or two, and then maybe I'll take it off 6 months from now. If you're willing to wait 6 months for a profit, you have a different business plan in play. How much time can I invest daily in my business? It's my opinion that if you're not prepared to invest a certain amount of time every day managing your business, you're making a mistake. What is the amount of time you're willing to invest? Automate or not. And by this is very important because a lot of people don't understand what it means to automate. What it means to automate means you're going to take somebody else's expertise, not to develop your own, take somebody else's. And we'll get to that in a minute. Now, the time to wait. Here's the issue. After you answer those questions, you need to commit to developing or finding an execution plan. This means you will buy or sell under those conditions, no exceptions. Exactly what that means is going to be unique. Let's say that you're the kind of guy that's willing to wait 6 months for a profit to show in his account. In other words, you put a position on, you're willing to let it work for a longer period of time. If you're willing to do that, you need to find or develop a trend following approach. If you're the kind of guy that wants to be in and out of the market on a very short time frame, couple of minutes, an hour or two maybe, you want to have no positions on at the end of the day, You need to find a system or develop an approach that's based on volatility. Volatility can work for you or against you. Additionally, you need to make the commitment that you're only going to buy or sell under those conditions. In other words, if you're going to be the type of individual that's willing to wait a longer amount of time, the only thing you're ever going to do is trade with the trend. If you're the kind of guy that's not willing to wait very long, you know the market can give you something today. You need to be very, very careful that you don't expect home runs on that. In other words, you're going to make 20, 30, 40, 50 points, which might, depending on the size of your account, maybe only be 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks a day, but you need to be satisfied with that. In other words, volatility will move higher and lower all the time very quickly on short time frames, and it never really gets more than a few points one way or the other, so you need to be prepared for that. So the amount of time you're willing to wait for your gain more or less determines what style of trading your business is going to have. You need to make that choice. Once you make it, you stick with it, and that's what you look for. Every systemized approach that you could buy, every systemized approach that you could take and develop on your own, all of them have a time frame issue and an assumption that we're either going to go with a trend or we're going to go with volatility. What is it for you? You got to know how much time you're willing to invest in this, because a trend following system doesn't take very much time at all. There's nothing to it. Because you're going to wait 6 months. What do you need to do every day? Like maybe check to make sure that the market hasn't done something screwy for one day. You're going to be in it for 6 months. Maybe you need to spend 10 minutes a day on that, right? If you're going to be in something that involves volatility, you might need to sit in front of that computer for 8 to 12 hours a day waiting for that opportunity and then instantly execute. So you need to know what that amount of time is that you're willing to invest. The goal here is discipline and consistency. It doesn't matter what it is that you're trying to do, as long as you try to do it all the time the same way every day. The advantage of automated systems is that they will be consistent. They will give you the information you need to know, and they will, boom, there it is, take it. If they're actually trade robots, they'll put the trade into your account for you. All you got to do is check it at the end of the day to see how much money you made or lost, right? Bear in mind that that doesn't excuse you from the time it takes every day to monitor what those robots are doing, or to monitor what the results of your actual executions have been on your system. You need to make a daily investment. Here's your foundation. How much time am I prepared to wait? So that means either I'm a breakout volatility trader or I'm a trend trader. You can't really be both. Daily investment, how much time am I going to commit to my new business every single day? Doesn't matter what it is, you got to do it every day, no exceptions. Now, if you're going to automate, by this I mean whatever the execution process is, you're going to program your computer to take it for you. So in other words, you'll hear a ding, you'll go back and check, and there it is. Your trade is already on for you. If you're going to automate, I think that's in your best interest. The answer is yes. If you can't, or you won't invest more than an hour every day. Your time is best used to monitor rather than create. Example being, my product, the first level toolbox is 5 currency pairs. At the end of a day, it would take you about 30 to 45 minutes to monitor what went on in those pairs based on the automated system, based on the time frame you wanted to use. That's monitoring what's happening rather than creating. Computers make mistakes. Glitches happen. Stuff goes down. Connections get disconnected. You're not going to just sit here and go, "Ooh, how much money did I make today?" And there's something screwy going on. Well, maybe your platform had a problem. Maybe your internet connection went down and something didn't get filled like it was supposed to. You know what I'm saying? It's not as simple as press a button and wait. If it was really that simple, guys, I'm telling you, we'd all be rich. It can't work that way. First of all, there's the issue of the zero-sum transaction that we talked about before, that the loser has to pay the winner. That's really what this is all about. You're trying to find the loser. Your automated system needs to be able to find the loser. If that ain't happening, it's not going to work anyway. How well is it working? Monitor it. On the other hand, if you want to create a systemized approach and you're willing to spend an hour, 2 or 3 or 4 every day, then the sky is the limit and the world is your oyster. Most likely it's going to be good for you to join a group of dedicated traders or a community online and work with people that are like-minded while you're developing your own approach. So you either want to create one or duplicate one. But in either case, your goal here is consistency. So your foundation is, what kind of approach am I going to use based on how much time I'm willing to commit? Either approach is fine. In my opinion, the longer time frame you use, the less there is to do with this every day, and it's all trend. Um, Boring as hell to have to, every day is boring as hell. But then again, maybe you're the kind of guy that doesn't mind doubling his account balance every year if it's boring. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of different ways to do this. But your foundation is, you got to make those decisions. Once you make that decision, you stick with it. So why is this foundation the important one? Here's why. Either you will do this yourself and learn it like a business, or you'll buy someone else's expertise and monitor the results. That's it. You got to figure out what you're going to be first, because what most people try to do is they don't have a plan. They don't know what they're trying to do. They don't stop and think, wait a minute, I ain't smart enough to figure this out. I'm going to buy a good quality system and monitor it every day. Okay, that's a reasonable thing to do. Other people, they cheat on the system. They decide they're going to be trend followers, but gee, just today, boy, does that look like a great trade in the euro. I'm going to get all over that one today. That's a volatility trade. Well, your approach isn't volatility, so what are you doing trading outside your business plan? Not a good move. Again, see, can you see where it's all psychology? It's not market. It's what you think is happening and what you believe to be true and how you're going to participate. So your foundation, you need to engineer out all the mistakes that could be made by making a hardcore decision now, before you even trade one time. Which trader are you going to be? This is the foundation you want to build. Either you're going to do this for yourself, learn like a business, or you buy someone else's expertise and monitor the results. The point I want you to have clear in your mind about your foundation, it really boils down to this. Are you going to learn to do this on your own, take full responsibility for the results, and attempt to make this happen for yourself your way? Or you're going to buy the expertise of somebody else and attempt to monitor that and work with it in real time over time. Either way presents obstacles, hardships, good things, trade-offs. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Like I tell guys all the time, if you want to create your own approach, that'll be highly personal, and psychology is more important in that than at any other time. If you're going to take and duplicate or attempt to duplicate somebody else's expertise and approach, buy their thing, automate it yourself, buy their system, buy their auto trader robot, buy whatever it is that they've got, and use it for yourself, the advantage there is that you will have most likely bought something that has engineered out a lot of the mistakes you would make normally. The downside to that is that maybe you can't work with it and you can't stay disciplined with it. Maybe it doesn't fit in your head. You know what I mean? Either way is your choice. They both have great opportunities. I went the first way. I decided to figure this out on my own, and I figured out what works for me, and that's how I work it. What I've given in terms of opportunity to you in that regard is I'm going to help you get down that pathway without getting too far off one side or the other. If you want to buy somebody else's expertise, buy their system, buy their robot, buy their software, whatever it is you want to do, there's nothing wrong with that. But then again, what I'll do is I'll show you how to stay focused on that, how not to quit on the system, how to know when the system is at risk, how to know when you are at risk, when it's time to take a break. It's not an easy way to do it either way. There's no shortcut. But the good news is you can choose which foundation to lay, and you've got to lay it. Once you got that place started, we take the next couple of steps, and you're off and running. So that being said, let's get on to step 2.